high school office secretary accused of trying to seduce a student, even telling him that she loved him.
People spend most of their lives in the workplace, so it's not surprising that they may end up in less than optimal situations.
Students caught them kissing on school ground.
From being caught on Zoom having sex to kissing your secretary to flirting with minors, these secretaries forget they are being filmed and quickly learn that actions have consequences.
And if I may say so, I am profoundly sorry.
Vanessa Vigil.
Former high school secretary Vanessa Vigil facing 6 felony charges.
First, we delve into the scandalous case of Vanessa Vigil, a former office aide at Miami Killian Senior High School. In this video, we will uncover the disturbing details of Vigil's arrest on charges of offenses against a student by an authority figure and 5 counts of battery. The allegations against Vigil involve her relentless pursuit of a romantic relationship with a 16-year-old student, which left him feeling uncomfortable and violated. Vanessa Vigil, a 35-year-old office secretary at Miami Killian Senior High School, seemed like an ordinary staff member, but little did anyone know the shocking secrets she harbored. Vigil's life took a dramatic turn when she was arrested on charges of offenses against a student by an authority figure and 5 counts of battery. The allegations against her have sent shockwaves through the school community and beyond. Before this scandal unfolded, Vigil was known for her role as an office aide, assisting students and staff with various administrative tasks. She had been working at Miami Killian Senior High School for several years, seemingly dedicated to her job. However, behind her professional facade, Vigil had a hidden agenda that would soon come to light. It all started in September when Vigil crossed paths with a 16-year-old student. At first, their interactions seemed harmless, with Vigil simply being friendly and engaging with the young boy. But as time went on, her behavior took a disturbing turn. Vigil began to show a keen interest in the student, going beyond the boundaries of a typical student-staff relationship. According to reports, Vigil's advances towards the student were relentless. She would ask for his telephone number, compliment his appearance, and even express her love for him. These actions left the young boy feeling uncomfortable and confused, unsure of how to handle the situation. He found himself trapped in a web of inappropriate attention from someone he should have been able to trust. The student's discomfort escalated when Vigil started touching him without his consent. On multiple occasions, she would inappropriately touch his arms, face, and even his lower back. The student described feeling nervous and uncomfortable, unable to escape Vigil's unwanted advances. One incident was so distressing that it triggered a panic attack, leaving the young boy traumatized. As the situation unfolded, it became clear that Vigil had abused her position of authority within the school. She used her role as an office aide to gain access to the student and pursue a romantic relationship with him. This breach of trust not only violated the student's rights, but also shook the entire school community to its core. Parents and others with ties to the school were shocked to learn about Vigil's actions. They never imagined that such a scandal could happen within the walls of their beloved educational institution. The allegations against Vigil serve as a stark reminder that abuse of power can occur in any setting, even within the confines of a school. The consequences of Vigil's actions are severe. She now faces 5 charges of battery and offenses against a student by an authority figure. The evidence against her, including surveillance footage and witness accounts, paints a damning picture of her misconduct. The legal process will determine the outcome of this case, but the impact on the student and the school community will be long-lasting. One incident, caught on school surveillance footage, showed Vigil inappropriately touching the student's lower back. As the student bent down to pick up something, Vigil began tapping his lower back with her nails. Her actions were not only unwelcome, but also highly inappropriate for a staff member entrusted with the well-being of students. This incident alone was enough to make the student feel uncomfortable and violated, but the inappropriate behavior did not stop there. On multiple occasions, Vigil took advantage of her position to engage in further misconduct. In one encounter, she began to caress the student's face, using both of her hands and running her fingernails over his cheeks. This act of physical intimacy crossed all boundaries and left the student feeling even more disturbed. The student, who worked as an office aide, had frequent contact with Vigil due to the nature of his role. This proximity allowed Vigil to continue her advances, making the student's work environment increasingly uncomfortable. It became clear that Vigil's actions were not isolated incidents, but rather a pattern of inappropriate behavior that persisted over time. In addition to the unwanted touching, Vigil made several other advances towards the student. She touched him a total of 5 times, asked for her his phone number, and even gave him a keychain as a token of her affection. These actions were not only unprofessional, but also crossed the line into potential emotional manipulation. Vigil's behavior blurred the boundaries between a student-staff relationship and a romantic one, causing significant distress for the young boy. The impact of Vigil's actions extended beyond the student involved. Other students also observed some of her inappropriate behavior, further highlighting the severity of the situation. The school community was left in shock and disbelief, grappling with the realization that such misconduct could occur within their educational institution. The evidence captured on the security video serves as a powerful testament to the truth behind the allegations against Vigil. It leaves no room for doubt or speculation, providing a clear picture of her inappropriate conduct. The footage, combined with the student's testimony, and underscores the importance of maintaining professional boundaries in educational settings. Matt Hancock. Next, we have a shocking story that has rocked the UK government and left the nation in disbelief. It involves none other than the former Health Secretary, Matt Hancock. Strap in because this scandal is one for the books. It was a late night in June 2021 when the bombshell dropped. Pictures were published online capturing a moment of intimacy between Matt Hancock and his secretary, Gina Coladangelo. The images showed the two engaged in an embrace in his ministerial office. The nation was left stunned as the man responsible for leading the country through the COVID-19 pandemic was caught in a compromising position. Matt Hancock and Gina Coladangelo had known each other for years, having been university friends. In November of the previous year, Hancock appointed Coladangelo as a non-executive director at the Department of Health and Social Care, DHSC. This move raised eyebrows, as it was seen as a case of cronyism and favoritism. However, it wasn't until the pictures were published that the true extent of their relationship was revealed. The images were taken on May 6, 2021, a time when intimate contact with people outside one's household was still prohibited under the government's unlocking timetable. This blatant disregard for the rules sparked outrage among the public and politicians alike. As the images spread like wildfire across social media, the public's outrage grew. Matt Hancock was quick to issue an apology, acknowledging that he had breached social distancing rules. However, he made it clear that he had no intention of stepping down as health secretary. This decision sparked a wave of criticism from both the opposition and his own party. The Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats wasted no time in calling for Hancock's resignation. They argued that his actions constituted a blatant abuse of power and a clear conflict of interest. Annalisa Dodds, the Labour chair, demanded that Boris Johnson sack Hancock immediately. Munira Wilson, the health spokesperson for the Liberal Democrats, accused Hancock of hypocrisy for urging the public to avoid close contact while engaging in such behavior himself. The pressure on Hancock continued to mount as the media intensified its coverage of the scandal. The public's trust in the health secretary was shattered, and many questioned his ability to effectively lead the country's response to the ongoing pandemic. The calls for his resignation grew louder with each passing day. Downing Street remained silent on the matter, leaving many to speculate about Hancock's future. The Daily No 10 media briefing was postponed, fueling rumors of internal discussions and potential repercussions. The lack of a clear statement from the Prime Minister's office only added to the growing uncertainty surrounding Hancock's position. Grant Shapps, the Transport Secretary, stepped forward to address the situation. In an attempt to defend Hancock, Shapps emphasized the rigorous processes involved in appointing individuals to government positions. He highlighted the significant civil service oversight that takes place before appointments are made. However, Shapps declined to comment on the nature of the relationship between Hancock and Coladangelo, leaving the public to draw their own conclusions. The government's response, or lack thereof, only fueled the public's frustration. Many felt that the situation warranted swift and decisive action from the Prime Minister. This scandal came at a time when Matt Hancock was already facing intense scrutiny. He had been accused of repeatedly lying by Dominic Cummings, Boris Johnson's former chief advisor. Cummings argued that Hancock should have been sacked for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, claiming that the health secretary had misled the public and made critical errors in the government's response. Cummings didn't hold back in his criticism of Hancock, accusing him of incompetence and poor decision-making. He claimed that Hancock had failed to deliver on promises and had made crucial mistakes during the early stages of the pandemic. These revelations further damaged Hancock's credibility and added fuel to the fire of public outrage. The scandalous affair between Matt Hancock and Gina Coladangelo not only strained Hancock's relationship with the public, but also with Prime Minister Boris Johnson. This was evident in a footage of Johnson's first in-person weekly audience with the Queen in 15 months, where the monarch referred to Hancock as "your Secretary of State for Health, poor man." The comment hinted at the Queen's sympathy for Hancock's predicament and the strain it had put on his position. The public's reaction to the scandal was one of outrage and disbelief. Many felt betrayed by Hancock, who had been entrusted with leading the country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The images of him breaking social distancing rules with his aide undermined the sacrifices and efforts made by the public to adhere to the guidelines. Social media platforms were flooded with criticism and calls for Hancock's resignation. Memes, hashtags, and viral videos mocking the health secretary became widespread. The scandal dominated headlines and talk shows, with the public demanding accountability and consequences for Hancock's actions. The scandal involving Matt Hancock and Gina Coladangelo had far-reaching implications for both individuals and the government. The fallout from the affair exposed the vulnerabilities within the political system and raised questions about the integrity and judgment of those in power. For Matt Hancock, the scandal marked the end of his tenure as health secretary. The mounting pressure and public outcry ultimately led to his resignation. The affair tarnished his reputation and left a lasting stain on his political career. The consequences of his actions served as a reminder that personal indiscretions can have severe professional repercussions. The scandal also highlighted the need for greater transparency and accountability in government appointments. The allegations of cronyism and favoritism surrounding Coladangelo's appointment raised concerns about the integrity of the decision-making process. It sparked a broader conversation about the need for stricter regulations and oversight to prevent such incidents in the future. As the dust settled, the nation was left to reflect on the scandal and its implications. The affair served as a stark reminder that those in positions of power must be held to the highest standards of conduct. It also underscored the importance of trust and integrity in public office, as the public's faith in the government's ability to lead and make sound decisions was further tested. Caught on Zoom. Next, we delve into the shocking incident of a boss caught cheating with his secretary during a Zoom meeting. You heard right. This viral video has left viewers speechless and ignited a firestorm of controversy. Before we dig deeper into the scandal that has gripped the corporate world, let's rewind to the circumstances that led to the boss being caught cheating with his secretary. It all began on a seemingly ordinary Wednesday during a regular Zoom meeting at the Fatima dos Village Council. The meeting, which was intended to discuss important matters pertaining to the council's operations, took an unexpected turn when the boss of staff, Jesus Estile, accidentally left his camera on. Little did he know that this simple oversight would expose a shocking secret that would soon become the talk of the town. Unbeknownst to Jesus, his affair with his secretary had been a well-kept secret until that fateful day. The identity of the secretary involved remains undisclosed, adding an air of mystery to the scandal. The affair had been going on behind closed doors, away from prying eyes, until technology intervened and brought their illicit activities into the spotlight. As the meeting progressed, Jesus and his secretary seemingly forgot about the camera, allowing their true desires to take over. Their actions were captured in explicit detail, leaving no room for doubt or speculation. The video, which was later leaked online, showcased a level of intimacy that was both shocking and scandalous. The revelation of Jesus' infidelity sent shockwaves throughout the council and the wider community. Colleagues who had once respected and admired him were left in disbelief, struggling to reconcile the image of the dedicated boss they knew with the person caught in the compromising video. The consequences of this scandalous affair were immediate and far-reaching. The video quickly went viral, spreading like wildfire across social media platforms. News outlets picked up the story, amplifying the scandal and ensuring that it reached a wider audience. The public's fascination with the downfall of a seemingly powerful figure fueled the fire, making it a topic of discussion in households, workplaces, and social gatherings. The fallout from Jesus' actions extended beyond the professional realm. His personal life was also thrown into disarray as his wife grappled with the heart-wrenching betrayal and humiliation caused by his infidelity. The once solid foundation of their marriage now stood on shaky ground, with trust shattered and emotions running high. Within the council, employees were left stunned and betrayed by the actions of their boss, Jesus Estile. Many had looked up to him as a role model and leader, only to have their trust shattered in an instant. The once respected figure was now seen in a completely different light, tarnishing the reputation of the council as a whole. The atmosphere within the council became tense and fraught with tension. Colleagues who had once worked together harmoniously now found themselves questioning their own judgment and the integrity of those around them. Productivity suffered as employees grappled with the emotional fallout of the scandal, struggling to come to terms with the actions of their boss. Outside the council, the scandal became the talk of the town. The public was captivated by the salacious details of the affair and the video that had gone viral. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions and debates, with people expressing their shock, anger, and disappointment in equal measure. The scandal scandal also sparked a broader conversation about workplace ethics and the abuse of power. Many individuals shared their own stories of workplace misconduct, highlighting the need for stricter regulations and a culture of accountability. The incident served as a wake-up call, reminding society of the importance of maintaining professionalism and integrity in all aspects of life. As the scandal continued to dominate headlines, public opinion became increasingly divided. Some sympathized with Jesus, arguing that his personal life should not overshadow his professional achievements. Others condemned his actions, calling for his immediate resignation and legal consequences. The media frenzy surrounding the scandal reached its peak as news outlets dissected every aspect of the affair. Journalists delved into the backgrounds of Jesus and his secretary, attempting to uncover any additional information that could shed light on their motivations and actions. The scandal became a hot topic on talk shows, with experts and commentators offering their perspectives on the wider implications of the scandal. High school principal and secretary. Next, we have a scandal that has sent shockwaves through a small town in Arizona. The scandal involves a high school principal and secretary who were caught engaging in inappropriate behavior on school grounds during school hours. The incident, captured on a cell phone video, has left parents and students in disbelief and has raised questions about the integrity of the school. As the news of the scandal broke, the small town of Quartzsite was left in a state of disbelief. The cell phone video, captured by 16-year-old Miranda Garber, quickly spread like wildfire, revealing the shocking behavior of the high school principal, Stephen McClenney, and the school secretary. Although the initial footage only showed their legs, it was clear that something inappropriate was happening. Parents, such as Cindy Jones, were appalled by what they saw. Jones made the difficult decision to pull her daughter out of the Scholars Academy, feeling that such behavior was completely unacceptable from individuals who were supposed to be role models for their students. She expressed her disappointment, stating, "They're supposed to be educating our children, not engaging in inappropriate activities on school grounds." Students, too, were left shocked and disappointed by the actions of their principal and secretary. 18-year-old Joseph Hager, who had a close relationship with McClenney, struggled to reconcile the man he looked up to with the scandal unfolding before him. While acknowledging that they were two consenting adults, Hager emphasized the importance of making appropriate choices and questioned the appropriateness of their actions on school grounds. The scandal has left a lasting impact on the community, with many parents and students feeling betrayed and let down. The reputation of the school has been tarnished, and there is a sense of fear that their once respected institution now has a black eye. The video, which went viral, has sparked outrage and raised questions about the integrity of those in positions of authority. The consequences of the scandal were swift and severe for both the principal, Stephen McClenney, and the school secretary. The school board member confirmed that McClenney chose to resign from his position, while the secretary was dismissed from her role. However, despite these actions, some parents are still angry about the fact that their last days at the school will be a ways out. They believe that resignation is a privilege and that both individuals should have been fired for their inappropriate behavior. The scandal has also caught the attention of a state representative who revealed that the organization holding the charter for the school will determine the disciplinary actions for faculty members. This revelation has raised questions about potential conflicts of interest, as it was discovered that McClenney is the president of this organization. The consequences faced by McClenney and the secretary extend beyond their professional lives. Their actions have caused a rift within the community, with parents and students feeling a sense of betrayal. The scandal serves as a stark reminder that even those in positions of authority must be held accountable for their actions, as their choices can have far-reaching consequences. The scandal involving the high school principal and secretary has had a profound impact on the students and their perception of authority figures. Many students looked up to Principal Stephen McClenney as a father figure, someone they could trust and rely on. The revelation of his inappropriate behavior has left them feeling confused and betrayed. 18-year-old student Joseph Hager, who had a close relationship with McClenney, expressed his mixed emotions. While acknowledging that they are two consenting adults, Hager emphasized the importance of making appropriate choices and questioned the appropriateness of their actions on school grounds. He, like many other students, struggled to reconcile the image of the principal they once admired with the reality of the scandal. The incident has left students questioning the integrity and trustworthiness of authority figures in general. They now find themselves questioning the actions and motives of those in positions of power. The scandal has shattered the illusion of infallibility that students often associate with their educators, leaving them with a sense of disillusionment. The impact of the scandal extends beyond the immediate shock and disappointment. It serves as a lesson for students about the importance of accountability and the need to question authority when necessary. The incident has sparked discussions about appropriate behavior and the boundaries that should be respected in professional settings. Education Secretary Jillian Keegan.
Does anyone ever say You know what, you've done a good job because everyone else has sat on their arse.
Next, we have a shocking story that has sent shockwaves through the education sector. In a scandal that has caught everyone by surprise, Education Secretary Jillian Keegan has been caught in a controversial moment that has sparked outrage and debate. Before we dive into the controversial remarks made by Education Secretary Jillian Keegan, let's take a closer look at the events that led up to this shocking moment. It all began with the crumbling concrete crisis in schools, which has been a growing concern across the country. Reinforced autoclaved aerated concrete, or RAC, has been widely used in the construction of school buildings. However, it has become apparent that this material is deteriorating, posing a significant risk to the safety of students and staff. The RAC crisis has caused widespread panic and raised questions about the government's response to the issue. Jillian Keegan, the Education Secretary, has been at the forefront of managing this crisis. She has faced numerous challenges and criticisms regarding her handling of education policies. While she previously received praise for her deal with teachers over pay, ending months of strikes, her response to the RAC crisis has been met with mixed reviews. It was during a TV interview that the pressure seemed to get to Keegan. ITV News reporter Daniel Hewitt posed a series of challenging questions, putting Keegan on the spot. As the interview progressed, it became evident that Keegan was growing increasingly frustrated with the situation. Does anyone ever say, "You know what, you've done a f***ing good job because everyone else has sat on their arse and done nothing"? No signs of that, no. In this unguarded moment, Keegan expressed her frustration and disappointment, using explicit language to convey her feelings. The video capturing this controversial remark quickly went viral, causing a firestorm of criticism and debate. Hours after the video surfaced, Keegan issued an apology for her choice of words, acknowledging that they were unnecessary. Downing Street wasted no time in responding to Jillian Keegan's explicit language and criticism of others. Rishi Sunak's spokesperson condemned her remarks. The spokesperson also acknowledged Keegan's subsequent apology, but refused to disclose whether the Prime Minister had ordered her to apologize. However, they made it clear that Boris Johnson continued to have full confidence in Keegan. As news of Keegan's controversial remarks spread, the public and political circles were quick to express their outrage. Social media platforms were flooded with comments from individuals who felt that her language was inappropriate for a government official. Many questioned her professionalism and ability to handle the RAC crisis effectively. Opposition parties seized the opportunity to criticize Keegan and the government's handling of the crisis. Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, described the situation as descending into farce and accused the government of failing to prepare adequately. He pointed out that the Prime Minister bore responsibility for key decisions along the way and called for a more proactive approach to addressing the RAC crisis. Munira Wilson, the Liberal Democrat education spokeswoman, demanded an apology from Keegan for her shocking handling of the crisis. Wilson emphasized that expecting gratitude while children were being taught in classrooms at risk of collapse showed a complete lack of understanding and empathy. She called on Keegan to take responsibility for her actions and apologized to the parents and children affected by the crisis. In her defense, Jillian Keegan claimed that her remarks were made in the heat of the moment and were not directed at anyone in particular. She accused the interviewer of unfairly portraying the crisis as solely her fault and questioned whether anyone ever acknowledged her efforts in a positive light. Keegan's attempt to shift the blame and downplay the severity of the situation only fueled further criticism. As the controversy unfolded, it was revealed that Jillian Keegan had been on holiday in Spain, while sources close to Keegan confirmed that she remained in touch with officials and chaired daily meetings during her vacation. Her absence during a critical time raised eyebrows. Critics argued that her decision to go on holiday while the RAC crisis loomed showed a lack of dedication and prioritization. Jillian Keegan's response to the RAC crisis has been met with mixed reviews. While she previously received praise for her deal with teachers over pay, her handling of the current crisis has drawn criticism from various quarters. Some Tories believe that Keegan has come across as complacent, repeatedly emphasizing that only a small proportion of school buildings are at risk of collapse. This approach has been seen by many as downplaying the severity of the issue. Opposition parties have been quick to criticize Keegan's response to the crisis. Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, has accused the government of failing to prepare adequately and has called for a more proactive approach. Critics argue that Keegan's emphasis on the limited number of affected school buildings fails to address the underlying concerns and risks faced by students and staff. Keegan's handling of the crisis is not the only aspect that has drawn criticism. She has faced backlash for suggesting that employers would not ask pupils about their A-level results in a decade's time. This comment came on the same day that students received their results, and the sharp fall in top grades led to disappointment and frustration for many. Critics accused Keegan of adding insult to injury and being out of touch with the realities faced by students. Some have pointed out that Keegan's personality and style of communication have contributed to the challenges she faces in handling the crisis. One former government advisor described her as having one of those very big personalities that can clash with reality. While this style may work well in certain contexts, it can become problematic when faced with the complexities and demands of a crisis like the RAAC issue. The fallout from Jillian Keegan's controversial remarks and her handling of the RAAC crisis has had significant consequences. The scandal has further eroded public trust in the government's ability to address pressing issues in the education sector. Keegan's credibility and effectiveness as Education Secretary have been called into question, and the pressure on her to take responsibility for her actions and provide effective solutions continues to mount. Thanks for watching. Click on the videos on your screen for similar content.